Hello, hi there, Robin here from Expert Island, and today we're doing a live Q&A. So that pretty much means you can throw your questions up there. There's super chat available if it gets a little busy. I hope it will. Who knows? It could be just like that. So let's see what we got going on. All right, so let me bring up the screen here and we'll see where we're at. And there we go. I see there's a live up here. Okay, so if anybody's out there, let me know how I sound, because that's going to be a big part of how this is going to go. And of course, the first thing I get is a ad. So bear with me. I'm coming. We're going to see what's there. By all means, let me know what it is. And I'm going to hit that button and see if we're getting anything. So, Dari, you think you can go on there and say hello to everybody? Oh, look, there we go. So what's up? How you doing? All right, Yorkville Power Speakers. What are your thoughts about Yorkville Power Speakers? Yes. So that's a good question. And hello, Chad. Yes. And DJ Killa. All right, I guess that's it. We'll start with that one. I don't have a problem with Yorkville. It's one of the brands that are out there. Depends on where you're actually chatting from. If you're in Canada, it's like Tim Hortons up here. Lots of people have it. It's because Yorkville is owned by Long McQuaid. So definitely they're going to have that product everywhere. It's a very durable product. That's their point with their product, is to build something that's very strong and reliable. At the end of the day, in the price points, you do have to compare. If we're down in the States, it would be another brand on the shelf. So, you know, you go in the store and you'd see like, 10 brands and it would be like, oh, and here's the Yorkville. It would be up to you if you really like the sound of it. Outside of that, I don't have any bad things to say about it. I think though, if you are in Canada, there's lots of options. So if all you got to hear was Yorkville, then I would definitely probably take a listen to a bunch of other stuff. It depends on the price point you're looking at. I hope that helped. And like I said, I don't have a problem with the brand. We just don't sell it here because we're an independent dealer. Let's see. And oh, what do I think? I guess it's what do I think of the Qsc K 12.2? Now, I haven't personally heard it. I do hear a lot of people talk about it, and from what I've read and the specs on it, it's pretty much one of those Sherman tank brands. What that means, if you're going to play it hard and you want something that you can abuse a little bit, definitely that's a brand. But remember, you're going to pay a premium dollar for that speaker. So as cost goes, as investment goes, you're not going to go wrong if you need something that's pretty bulletproof. Again, people like the quality of it, and that's really good. I put it in the category I would put in, let's say, with some of the JBLs, where you need a product, really good brand. Hope that helps. And hello. Love to see comparison of the Alto Stealth Pro and the first generation. Well, that's a good question, because we are going to order it. Because the times right now, it's a little slow, so we're probably going to see if Alto lends us a pair or if we're going to come back to it later. But it's just a more stronger commercial range type product. So that's really what it comes down to. Do I think it's better? Remember, the Pro came out before, and then they came out with the second generation, and due to popular demand, that's my belief, they came out with the Pro again. So we will get it in, and I do think it's worthwhile trying out, especially if you're going to be transporting it a lot. Again, if you're going to be letting other people use it, the Pro is probably a stronger, more durable product. But from all the DJs that come in here and buy the regular Stealth model, because that's what we're talking about, everybody seems to really like the regular Stealth model. So I guess if you need that extra range, that would be it. But I'm definitely going to get it. It's probably now going to be up to Alto if we get it in the next month or two. If not, then we'll probably be buying into it somewhere in the summertime. And how about RCF. Well, I'm gonna have to pass on the RCF. Now, again, the brand is really good. I know the brand. It's like a BMW, right? I don't have to really drive it to say, ooh, that's a really good product. So can you bear with me? Dark, can you want to slide that over here? I just have to unlock a phone here for a second. There we go. There we are. All right. So getting back to the RCF, I think it's really, really good when it comes to quality and performance. And that's a big deal when it comes to stuff like that. So there we go. I'm just going to give that back. Darlene's here. She's actually trying to run. We're trying to do this for the first time. So she's actually trying to run as a producer. So I asked her to do that at the last minute to help us get to where we are now. So back to RCF. Again, I think it's really, really good quality. And if you can afford the investment, companies who lease cars, you want to keep it for the first 3-4 years. Then you want to sell it off. If you love the product so much, you're welcome to go out and buy it again. But get rid of that stuff because eventually it will break down. It's not a matter of, oh, this will never break down. It will happen eventually. So if you listen to RCF and you like it and you still like it after the price point, then by all means, RCF's a great product to buy. And where are we up to now? About 4 sound great. Sorry, I'm just trying to scroll through here a little bit. But 4 sounds great, just not tried on live. Oh, I lost track of the. How about? Oh, okay. So, all right. So, with the So you've had 4 of them. You've tried them out. Tried them on live. So, did you like them on live, or because when you DJ, you are in control of the sound. When you're playing something live as a band or as a performer, it's always hard because now you're trying to dial that in to make it match your performance, right? So, I mean, that's always a good point. And there we go. So I do have questions. They're about a mixer and adding a mixer to the Electro Voice 200 series speakers, I think it was. And those are always good questions is when you combine products. When you're treating a mixer differently from a speaker, that's a really good idea because you're going to buy a speaker based on what kind of performance you have and who you're going to actually be talking to or singing to or playing to as a DJ. But then you have to choose a mixer or controller to go along with that. And you really have to think of those as 2 separate pieces. The best thing about the industry today is that there's really 3 cables and they're all interchangeable when it comes to connecting up your equipment. No one's going to invent a brand new piece of hardware or cable that's not you can't use with everything else. So you're either going to have an XLR or you're going to have a 1/4 inch or you're going to have a balanced or unbalanced cable connection. And that's really what's going to happen there. So how are we doing, by the way? All right. So for J-Mixer 8 was great for single performance and guitar going to use live. Show in Juno. Well, there you go. See, so then you must have some confidence in your product if you're going to use it live. That's for sure, right? I mean, it's if you're willing to, after using something, go back to it, then you're probably liking what you're looking at. I think that's important. Sound Tower power speakers. I don't think I've listened to Sound Tower. So yeah, so I don't think I've actually listened to those. They're one of those kind of brands that have to come across our desk. I don't think we're going to be buying into that. Suppliers may decide, to visit us and say, hey, here's some of their product. I did look at it online. I do think it's price competitive with other products in the line. So if you do get a chance to listen to it live, I don't think the price is out of whack when it comes to the product, but you do have to, like it. And let's see, where are we up to? Yeah, so the K12.2 versus the SRX 812 from JBL. So are you going to be using this, or is this for somebody else to use? So, and when I say that, because there's a lot of people out there who do buy. They're the person responsible for taking care of schools and churches and halls and stuff like that. If you're buying a piece of hardware that you're going to use, I'd probably say go out and get the Qsc. If you're buying a piece of hardware for other people to use, and this is just strictly out there like that, then I would definitely look at the SRX. I find JBL very indestructible when it comes to a product that's being used by people who aren't necessarily comfortable or have used the product before. If you have an accident with the SRX, it's a very forgiving product. It's never as loud as some of the other products in the same category. So the QSC is probably maybe a little bit louder, but you have to know how to manage the QSC. So this way you take care of it, it'll take care of you, and you'll get big sound out of it. Let's see. And had any issues with the Alto TS? Have too. So have I had any issues? As a guy who sells the product, I've probably sold hundreds and hundreds of TS2 series and even more of the TS3 series. And I do get asked this question from time to time. I've had, I'm going to say it has the same about a 1-2%. Now, ask yourself, well, why does the tweeter go on it? First, I'll paint overall scenarios. If I've serviced, let's say, 8 tweeters in the last year, that only maybe totals 2, maybe 3 customers. I've had tweeters fail on multiple occasions with the same customer. So usually it's a preamp conditioning problem that we're having with it. It's because the problem that the speaker has is also the good thing the speaker has. It has a ton of power. I'm not saying they put too much power into the tweeter, but they don't put enough protection on it. And that's where, when I mentioned the JBL is very forgiving, the Alto might not be. The downfall is you cannot upgrade it. It is a very good tweeter, but it just fits in the pocket where it goes. So if you maintain it, if you run your controller or your mixer at Unity, and then you match that up with the volume on the back of the speaker, so this way you dial it up as far as you can get it. And once you see that limiter light go on, just a tad back, take like 2-3% off. You won't have a problem. I can get those speakers to pound here every day, all the time, to the point that I'm now sold out. But occasionally we do see that somebody has an issue with it on the market. I just say change the tweeter out. Alto is very good about helping you service it. I know some places say, oh, I have to send it up very far. Usually if you say you want to be able to service it yourself or service it in-house, you can usually make arrangements. So what else do we have going on here? Would you recommend the Alto TS310? I do all the time. We've tried having other 10-inch speakers in the showroom, and the Alto's been probably the most successful product that we've had. The price point is absolutely awesome. If you're going to use it as a stage speaker, as a monitor for yourself, it works out really, really good. And I've had a band actually have to use it as side fill because they had 4 stage monitors and they had 2 TS315s, and they needed side fill, and they would use some of their monitors in front of them as side fill instead. And that made the speaker really, really good. Remember, 10-inch overall has great performance when you're in a reasonable amount of distance. So I wouldn't want to use them necessarily as my main in a very large venue because they're just not going to have the carry distance. So it's going to be really loud for the people right in front of it, but the people in the back of the room will have a hard time hearing it. All right. Hi, what about, what do I think of the Eon 618 subwoofer? We had them here. There was no problem having them here in the showroom. We sold, you know, a reasonable amount of them. People who buy JBL, same like people who buy Mackie, really, really like the brand. And I really trust the brand. So I didn't have a problem selling it. About the 18-inch subwoofer, it's the way they built the box. They built the box so wide instead of tall that the handles are really, really far apart. So it makes it kind of difficult. So can you actually bear with me a second? I'm just going to mute you for a second. I have UPS at the back door because we're an actual working showroom. There we go. I'm back. Sorry about that. Like I said, we're a working showroom, and that was UP back door who took forever to unload the boxes, of course. All right. So, where are we at? Okay. So again, we were at the JBLs. Yeah, we're at the JBL 18-inch subwoofer. I think the box is great. I'm not going to say it's overpriced right now because I think they dropped the price on it. If you like to use the app that comes with it, is phenomenal. So if you have some tops and you have some subs, I mean, it's just cool to use all that. It does take a little while to get used to it, and some people do have issues with it because it's a lot. Outside of that, you could probably listen to a couple of different subs if it wasn't for the app. So where are we up to now? Bought 2 of the Bluetooth totals. Love them. Thanks. You're welcome. Yes, Bluetooth totals. If you're, by the way, that reminds me, it's time for my cheesy plug. Our Amazon links are located just down below for anybody who's looking for anything price-wise that we're talking about, or thinks, hey, you know what does something like that cost? Those links help support this channel. They help support us, and that's a good thing. I've got links for Canada and the US, and you can, of course, visit our website. There you go. End of my cheesy plug. We'll come back to that cheesy plug later on. And Bluetooth totals. Yes, Bluetooth totals. I love Bluetooth totals. They work with every brand. They're made by Alto. They plug in via XLR. They have a switch on them that basically allow you to drop the dB on it, so you can use it in a mic input or you can use it in a line input. And they also have pairing. Now remember, they are Bluetooth 4.0 wedding service, and you need something for the ceremony. You want to be able to stay in the back and just have your actual tablet to play like the 2-3 songs you need to play. You can do that with the Bluetooth Total from Alto. Thank you. I know. I own a Soundcraft. Yeah, noise. It is. So I've got a question about the Soundcraft. The UI16 has too much noise. Flora, I'm guessing. Okay, hissing, a lot of things like that. Looking at upgrading. If you're getting a lot of hissing, I would probably check the cables and check the gain levels. Usually with Soundcraft, I don't normally see that problem. They tend to be pretty bulletproof when it comes to their equipment. But you can easily pick it up with cables. Sometimes you spend money on a cable and you think it's a really good cable and it works well in some scenarios, but you hook it up into certain equipment and you get this hissing in the background. If the hissing sounds more like a buzzing hiss, then you can actually have a problem with your power. So you may want to get one of those little power conditioners. Don't go out and spend $300 on a power conditioner, by the way. If you're ever looking to buy a power conditioner, you look at things like Belkin's. They have power conditioners that are like $25 to $45. They are going to do an awesome job. I know that Monster brand used to sell one for a subwoofer. It was a single plug that you would plug in, and you can use that as well. That does a really good job. I don't think that one getting into a bigger size is necessarily going to change it, or if the preamps are better, I think they just build them up bigger. That's the real thing. So I mean, you're going from a 16 channel to a 24, which is going to look really cool when you have it, but I don't think it's going to change everything a whole heck of a lot when it comes to noise, especially in the background or in the low hiss. Question, Robin, please do a demo on the Behringer SX 3242 FX Pro Eurodeck. Thank you. We'll have to ask Behringer for that. We do carry some of the Behringer products here. They come and go because we're trying to go through Behringer as a brand. Behringer is one of those huge companies when it comes to selection of products, and you really have to have the right one for who you are. In my case, you know, I'm a showroom, and if I don't have the right pieces that my customers are looking for, I can have the very best of something and nobody buys it because it's either not in the right price point or that's not the kind of customer I attract. But if Behringer lends me product, I certainly will learn all there is to know about that particular product and do a video on it. But it's nice to know this is how I learn about new products and products people want to see. What are we up to now? Do you have a Behringer X18? What do I think of them? So, no, I don't have an X18 Behringer. I'm amazed. Behringer seems to be putting a lot of attention into these type of products, and the price points are not any cheaper. I'm not picking on the brand per se, and maybe I'm saying that wrong. I'm not picking on the brand, but because we do buy a lot of Soundcraft products, and for the same dollars, I'm always amazed at why people don't buy Soundcraft more often than Behringer. Now, they both work really, really well. They both do everything really, really well. It's just one of those odd things. Big thing about new digital mixers is if you're going to have a single setup, a single use function for the product, it's a really good product to buy. If you need to buy something that's really small, I mean, that's okay, I guess. But if you want to learn how to use a mixer, I would say start with a traditional. But again, all the X series, all the digital mixers that are out there today, nobody knows how to make a cheap quality X mixer. So if the prices get better, it's just because they choose to sell for a better price, or they choose to have it work in a certain way. But outside of that, the quality and reliability of these products are pretty good. I have heard some people say, oh, I dropped it one too many times. And I guess it's something you shouldn't drop one too many times. So what do we got next? Yep.
He's not familiar with Soundcraft.
Oh, Soundcraft. Soundcraft is, so just to follow up on Soundcraft as the brand. Soundcraft is owned by JBL. It's part of the Harman Kardon industry of brands. Soundcraft is on a commercial side. They build some big stuff where Behringer ends up at their digital mixers. Soundcraft starts there. That's kind of like their middle of the product, and then they go like even crazier above that. So on a commercial scale, Soundcraft can get a lot more expensive than Behringer. So that's why I look at it and go, if I can buy Soundcraft for a reasonable price with the overall same features and functions to it, I tend to buy Soundcraft. Again, I'm not knocking Behringer, it's just different. So Dart, we got anything new going on?
He just wants to know if they're repairable.
Are they repairable? Well, certainly not by me or probably by you unless you're a technician. You have to send that back to Behringer. Depending on where you live, you're going to have to contact Behringer, send them an email or call their customer support. Oh, sorry, Soundcraft was the question? Soundcraft service? So when it comes to Soundcraft, then the Soundcraft itself, same thing. You can get Soundcraft serviced virtually anywhere. Most of the companies do not have a lot of service centers anymore. Anytime you hear somebody have a bad thing about any brand out there, it has to do with how far they have to send service. Soundcraft, though, is serviceable around the world because it's part of JBL. That's the big thing. Behringer, I think the same thing. It's when you get to these little local companies you have to worry about. But companies like Soundcraft, worldwide, big deal. No worries there. All right. And so what do we got, Dar? Am I missing anything?
No, just needs a cheap and effective way to record church service.
Okay, is that same guy or new customer, new person? What do we got? What do we got? Need cheap.
Different.
Okay, Alan. All right, need a cheap and effective way to record a church service. If you need to record a church service, and if you can use your laptop, I would say that would be a good way. You could use a Zoom recorder to do it. Normally, I would recommend having a small, tiny mixer that allows you to listen to it via the monitor and be able to pick up the mics in the room. So I'm not sure how far you want to go with this, but normally I do recommend having a couple of microphones. One for the pastors, anybody else that needs a microphone. If you've got podiums, bring that all back to a mixer and then go from that mixer to, if you plan on using this as a video, I personally just use my DSLR because the audio quality in that and the basic standard audio quality that we're going to need on YouTube or for streaming or anything like that is the same as what we'd have in the camera itself. So I actually literally record from my mixer via the outputs into my camera's mic input and have it still at a good enough quality that's going to work for broadcasts. So hope that helps. What do we got? And need cheap, effective way to record church services. We did that one. Soundcraft is an old company. Yes, Soundcraft is an old company. So Soundcraft has been around forever. Got to remember that companies like JBL and Soundcraft is just basically a spin-off part of JBL. They've been around for, I don't know, 70, 80 years, I guess. I mean, they're a long-time company. Or what do you, we are having, so John,
I'm assuming it means tech, and they just want to know if they get replaced.
Oh, okay. So sorry, that's tech. All right, sorry, John. So you have a tech, you just need replacement parts. Again, you're going to have to go to, if we're still talking about Soundcraft, are we? If you're still talking about Soundcraft, then you basically are going to have to contact the parts and service department through their parent website. So you can go to Soundcraft, or you can go to JBL, or you can go to Harman Industries. Depending on where you are, of course, depends on who you're going to have to make contact with. Some parts are hard to get. So sometimes you have to wait a little while to get the specific part, but you normally can get there. If you've got somebody who can fix it, great. If the product has been on the shelf for too long or discontinued for too long, that can become an issue. All right. Thank you for your time. And yes, Eve, and I appreciate your answering questions. Yes, well, that's what we're doing today. You are welcome. So let's see, what else we got? How do they compare to Yamaha? Yamaha's a really good brand. I mean, they're all in the same neighborhood. Amazingly enough, you have to look at specific features. When you're looking at a mixer, some of them are, and I'm just going to make up a price point. You've got $350, let's say. For $350, they can really change what they put on those mixers. Sometimes you look at the features and go, wow, it's like got a ton of stuff, but you got to look at what you want on a mixer. You want to have some compressors on the mixer. You're going to want to have the ability to have monitors on the mixer. So you need to look at all these different things. So Yamaha does set up their mixers differently. But again, mixers are like cars. They're all going to get you from point A to point B. It's just, do they have the features on it that you like? But as quality and reliability goes, Yamaha's another one of those great companies. Just like a lot of them, the base models aren't always made by them, but the quality is made by them. They decide what the quality is going to be like. So I wouldn't have a problem looking at a Yamaha mixer. And just so you know, we haven't talked about Yamaha mixers. Has more to do with how we have to go about buying Yamaha, and has nothing to do with the quality of Yamaha. If it was my choice, we'd have Yamaha in the showroom, but we have to do a big buy, and we have to dedicate buying direct from Yamaha because we're in Canada, and that's the distribution avenue for that product. So there we go. Just an analogy. Repaired up. See, there you go. That's how you learn things, right? So LG, are you referring to LG, like LG Electronics, the same company who makes TVs and cell phones and that sort of thing? Or are you talking about LG, the speaker company? That's that, because there is two different companies. Speakers, is that what we're thinking about?
Yes, because he previously sent a commentary saying he bought two LG FJ5.
Okay.
Speakers.
Yes. All right. Now, there we go. There's a lot going on. Thank you, Dar. So, okay. So, from what Dar told me, so I just missed it up a little bit higher. So, you bought some LGs, and they also paired up with, yes, Martin and new speakers. There you go. See? That's a good thing to know. So, thank you, Pete, for the speakers. And John, yes, you're asking about effects. And again, that's on mixers. I'm going to say you do get effects on mixers, and the effects are good. But the problem is that unless you buy a mixer that has multiple effects, like Behringer has one model that I know of, and I'm sure there's others, I just know of one, where it has two sets of effects dedicated separately for your mixing board. Normally, if you get to a level where you want to have more effects than what's built into the manufacturer's preset selection on their mixers, you're going to use the insert and you're going to buy something to do an external effects, sort of like the FX 2000 from Behringer. Like you can buy a whole rack of those and plug one into each effects on the mixer and take it from there. So, I mean, that's how, if you need a lot of effects, how you would add it in. Everybody would have their own unique effects, and you can group it up if you really wanted to. The UI is not designed by Soundcraft. It's not Soundcraft? Okay. What brand mixer is that then? Because I saw the UI. I thought we were looking at a Soundcraft. Can you do more DJ lighting and DMX interface reviews? I can do more I can do more lighting. I can do that. I don't do enough of it. I know that. So I will. So DMX interface reviews are today. A lot of people are going to the software base, and to be honest, I need to get into that. We play around with it here. I do deal with it a bit with customers. Most of our lights are generic. We do bring in some proprietaries when people order them, so we don't always have a ton of lights in the showroom. So, but that's a good point. Everybody does like to know how to use DMX, and people do like to know what's going on with the lights. So we'll look at that. Okay, so you're saying that going back to the mixer conversation about the, okay, so you think that from Soundcraft, the UI isn't designed by Soundcraft, so it's not coming out of their production facility, but the UI 24R is. Now, those are really good questions. Now, if it turns out that they do manufacture those, because I'd have to look it up, and I should have given myself a computer today so I can look at these things. If it's fundamentally different and it's being manufactured in a different location or to a different standard, which would be odd but is possible, then your problem could go away. Normally when mixers are in a series, so if we talk about Mackeys or if we talk about Yamahas, anything in a series usually comes out of the same facility. Soundcraft might have decided to outsource that to somebody else, and if they did, then you would definitely be getting something different. But again, if you can try it, get it from a retailer or get it from a website that if you try it and it doesn't work out, you can swap it out. That would be a good thing. If you're not sure, ask the retailer before you order it, if that's a possibility, specifically if you're trying to fix that problem. Being a retailer, I always say be nice to the retailer. Ask them questions first, because maybe they have one in the showroom that they can, have you try out first, that sort of thing. What do I think about Tascam models 16 and 12? I would need a computer to tell you what I think about that. The Tascam rep has been in here a few times and has offered me the products. I have not looked a lot at Tascam. That's just, there's only so many brands we can look at, and I haven't personally gotten to play around with that. The brand, though, I think the brand, there's nothing wrong with the brand. Definitely check the features against the price points, though. There's got to be a reason why I don't have Tascam on the shelf. There's always a reason why something's not on the shelf. All right. Every once in a while, Darlene looks up at me because I'm like too quiet for too long. I do occasionally have to read the questions and try and catch up to where I'm at. If I'm looking, so back to the Soundcraft issue, design and manufacturing and concept and all this kind of stuff goes all hand in hand. So it's real hard. If you think you need to get into it, I would say try it first. That's a big deal. I mean, I couldn't say anything more than that unless I had both of them here, and then I could really, really tell you for sure. So, but I definitely would go on and maybe give that a try. Dar, anything new coming up? Please do a comparison. Yes, that would be nice. UFX a 12.4. Well, back to the Tascam for a second. So I doubt that they're a bad company. I think they're a pretty good company. So I always say this is the odd part is because I have to get the product in the showroom, and that usually involves me buying it. I always say that here is that most of the products that we talk about and review, I have to, just like you, buy it as a customer first. I have to make a choice that this is what I think is good for me and is good for me to sell to you, and to make sure I have a lot of customers that are interested in the product. Sometimes some brands are hard to get your hands on, or there's a whole bunch of other issues behind it. Doesn't make it a bad product. Sometimes just makes it hard as a consumer to buy it. So, I mean, if I get a chance to hear the Tascam and play around with it, I'm always open to that. Well, thank you, Pete. I appreciate that. And Pete was just telling us we're doing a good job there. I appreciate that. Thank you. I'm going to have a little bit of sip of Coke here.
Yes, I see that.
Plug sponsorship. I don't drink Pepsi. Just thought I'd let Coke know that. Recommend a good cost-effective 15-inch subwoofer to go with my 15-inch Harbinger loudspeakers. So I'm assuming if you're talking about a Harbinger, you're probably in the States. And if you're looking for a subwoofer, depending on where you live, if you can get your hands on it, eventually we are going to make arrangements to try and have these on Amazon. 15-inch Blast King will probably blow your socks off if you look at their 15-inch subwoofer. Right now, what we have in that price category is awesome. They're pretty much a whole price notch off of some of the other brands. So have a look at the Blast King 15-inch. I don't remember the model off the top of my head. If you go to Blast King's website, they're there. If you're looking for a brand that's available on Amazon, then I would probably look, if you're doing any type of DJing or small band use, the Alto TS 315 subwoofer. But if you get a chance and you're down in the southern states, you can certainly look at Blast King. I was really impressed. We're going to be doing a video on that soon.
Analog boards.
Yeah. Noise gates. Yeah. So we're looking at, do I know of any that have noise gates on them, or the press or on boards? Well, you know what? No, I don't. That's, I haven't actually found a board. That feature has become an affordable add-on through the insert. It's hard to find them though. Last ones I saw were from Soundcraft, I think, or I think it was one of the other brands. Is it DBX? Is that the brand, Dar? DBX? Yeah, I think DBX. Yeah, DBX. So look, DBX has them as an add-on. They're usually in pairs, that sort of thing. So have a look at that. It's an add-on. I haven't found anything when it comes to gates or anything that you can really want to have. It's definitely always going to be an add-on. It sounds weird because you end up with all these little blades for all these effects that get plugged in your mixer, and your mixer maybe is only like, yay big. You look at these guys doing big, concert productions, they got like all these rolling things with all these blades in it, and then they have their big, massive, mixer. It all makes sense then. But these things are usually pretty cheap. In the US, around $100. In Canada, around $150. If you end up getting a generic one, that's okay too. A lot of times you find them on Amazon, there's generic ones, and they're really cheap, and they're just basically similar to the other brands. And if you get it from Amazon and it by any chance doesn't sound as clean as you expect it to be, you didn't hear this from me, just send it back. So, but it's a good way to try it out. Just make sure to buy Prime when you're on Amazon, because this way you get it, something's wrong, you send it back. It's always a good thing because they're a big company. All right, Dar, anything new? So we've gone from there, and so a lot of people talking about Tascam. We should look at that. I have to say that because I do all the selling and all the talking, but Darlene, at the end of the day, does the buying. And if it's not kosher, it doesn't work out, then no, we're not getting it. We're going to take a look at Tascam because people seem to be talking about it. Yes. And I need a pair of 12-inch full range powered speakers. Other people use it. It should. You know what? If you're looking for speakers, I say this all the time, and I'll keep on saying it because it's important. If you're looking at speakers for other people to use, if the price has got to be really affordable, JBL Eons, 615s. Then if it's for bigger, larger venues, anything beyond that, then stick with JBL. I'm not taking away from the other brands, but I do know by design, their products are very rock solid. And it's not because they're more durable or they're stronger. They're just, they know their brand has been looked at that way in the past, and they don't take away too much. So they do have a lot of safeties inside of them, a lot of redundancies. People do damage them, but when it's being used by people who aren't comfortable with using it, or it's the first time using it, or they're just going to use it for this thing this weekend and then they're going to move on from that, JBL everywhere, their whole line of product. How would I rate Blasking compared to the Evolve 50? Well, the Evolve 50 and now the Evolve 30 are both phenomenal products. I mean, up until that product came out, I would say that even if you were a DJ, you couldn't really go out and buy a line array. Now you can. Depends on the type of music now. If you're playing hip hop, house, techno, no, you can't. But if you're doing a traditional wedding DJ setup, you can certainly pull it off with that. The difference is the Evolve 30 has a really amazing software application that comes with it. The Evolve 50 has somewhat of an operation capabilities, and that's part of what you're buying with it. The Evolve 50 also has offset delay on the actual way the array is set up. So it's not just like blasting, it's kind of offsetting it off across the room. So these are reasons why you're spending more money on the product, which are all good reasons to spend more money on the product. If we're going for pure power sound and how well are we going to fill that space, get that room going, Blasking's doing the job. They put their own driver package inside of it, first of all. So that's something that a lot of other companies in that price range are not doing. The product's built very, very solid, and that's a big plus. I do joke, if you watch the video for it, I'm not too crazy about how you get the speakers in and out, but I mean, that's a small thing, and eventually they will fix that problem. But outside of that, the speaker's really good, really powerful, and it's not just powerful in the sense that it's just loud. It's got a ton of bass for what it does. And with the 8 speaker array on top, the Neodymium setup, it does a really good job. I don't think you're going to find anything in that price point that's going to be even half as loud as that guy. So if you're looking for power and performance and you're going to use a mixer, definitely look at the Blasking. If you want to have just one speaker to take out with you and it's in the budget, because of course there's always a budget, right? Then look at the Evolve 30 or the Evolve 50. I had the Evolve 30 here for all of like 20 minutes, and we're going to get it back to do a video on it because that was amazing. But again, it's an investment. So if you are working with the products, it's not just for pure entertainment. This is a working product for you. You could look at those guys. But if budget's important and you want to get the best bang for your buck and you do plan on using a mixer or a controller, I don't have a problem saying Blasking, because everything else is going to be twice the price. All right. Da-da, da-da, da-da. And Behringer does have an X-Air series. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. So Behringer does have an X-Air series. Again, it's just we haven't gotten through all of the products yet, so we haven't gotten there yet. All of them are really good stuff. So it's really hard. I can't really comment too much on those because I haven't gotten to play a lot with them. Yeah. Sorry, unless you're going to read me out the questions. I got to read them. Excuse me. That's just me having a cough. Don't worry about it. It's not that kind of cough. Let's see. So TrueSonic TS110As. I put them about an hour with the clip light flashing. Do you have any idea any idea of how long they will last? That's a good question. You know, I always thought the TS110, because I never actually got to sell it in the showroom. that was a product line before we started selling Alto and before we started having the showroom. We pretty much got into the TS2 series. And amazingly enough, the TS1 series, though not as powerful as the 2 or the 3, and I always thought that, you know, it probably would have taken away customer base. People really love it. I mean, people really enjoy using the TS1s, the original TS series. So how long can you run it with the clip light running? If the clip light is only running minimally, like 10% of the time, like if you've got your mixer running at unity and occasionally it blinks, let's say +3 right into the yellow, like, oh, I'm green, 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 yellow, green, 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 and your speaker's lined up with that occasional yellow, so the back of your speaker goes red at that point, I'm not too concerned about it. I think you can run it, you know, do a 3, 4, 5 hour show and you're okay. If you're leaning heavy, like 30% of the time, you're up there because you need that extra volume, then that's probably an issue. I don't think that that's good long-term for any product. That's kind of like squealing your tires. It may be okay for a little while, but eventually you're just going to wear out your tires. So, but if you can do your job with the TS 110s, then you're all set. All right. My JBL Eon Gen 2 have never failed. For life. See, there you go. See, people are happy with their JBLs too. How about a pair of Alto 312s for a small band PA setup? Can you get a sub down the line? Yes, absolutely. So yeah, if first of all, getting a pair of TS 312s for any small environment, bars, pubs, that sort of thing, for a band, 2 to 4 piece band, if you're playing in small environments, is an awesome speaker to get because you can move them around, rearrange them, set them up the way you want. If you want them as a monitor, you can do that. If you need them to be, you know, to fill the actual space, you can do that with them. And then get a subwoofer is awesome. They're one of the companies who do a really good job of not wasting your money on features on the top. They don't put a crossover on their actual tops. They don't put a digital display on the top. What they do is they give you power control options on it with a contour and a ground. That's it. So what they do is if you get their subwoofer, their TS3 series specifically, you're now going to have a subwoofer that built into that. That's where they invested the money. They put an actual contour, time delay, everything they needed built into that to match with your top. So you would run to the sub afterwards and then go up to the top. So I think they do a real good job setting that up. All right. And yeah. So I'm just reading Alan's question here. Just got it. What are you showing me there, Dar?
That's the compact.
That's a compact? What are we looking at? Sorry. Which question is that from?
That's the next question.
That's Alan's question? No?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, okay. Compact. There we go. Darlene's just showing me what the actual compact 10 system. All right. Thoughts? So Dar, what do you get with the what do you get with the system? What does it look like?
You got a 10-inch sub, 2 6.5-inch tops.
Yeah. Are the tops powered or passive? Sorry, I'm just getting updated on that that system.
I'm gonna say they look powered, but
They look powered. So I don't have that on the board. I did see it. Does it come with stands or not? Is that like a whole kit and caboodle?
it's
What are they asking for that? What's the price they're asking for that? So I'm gonna have to pull this back a bit. Doesn't say. All right. So I'm looking here. So Alan, this has to do with the compact 10 system. I don't have the price showing up on our screen right now. I'm okay with, you know, package systems if they play out well for you. You're gonna have 2 10s and you're gonna have the sub. And if you're playing small little gigs, not my cup of tea. I'm not a big fan of passive tops. it's not worth it. If something goes wrong with the amp plate on the back of the sub, excuse me, sorry, if something goes wrong with that amp plate on the back of the sub, that's it. Your system's gone. You're going to have to fix it, or you're going to have to find some way to get that, you know, system to run a different way. Better off to go with a smaller package that does, or sorry, a smaller setup if small is what you're looking for. If you can get away with having a TX series from Alto, for example, they have a new sub called the TX212S, which is very small and compact, and then you can put their powered speakers with it. If you're looking to do small gigs, that would be a really good thing. Compare the price of that. Just go online, have a look-see on the links, have a look at the TX tops and the TX subwoofer. Not very expensive, and it's all powered. So if anything goes wrong with your tops, or you want to upgrade your tops, you can do that. That's your choice. So let's see, what do we got? What do I think about Rockville? Rockville is Rockville. Oh, what can I say about Rockville? Rockville's mostly there. So first, let's talk about the brand. So Rockville itself. The reason we don't have Rockville here in the showroom is because Rockville is only sold by Rockville. So Rockville is a consumer pro audio company. And what do I mean by consumer pro audio is that it's product that you use if you have garage bands, which is a good thing. If you have, it's hard because we don't. I've called them up directly and we've talked. I just wasn't able to get that product up here, and it's because they sell it directly. I don't think there's anything wrong with the product. Do not use it as a commercial brand. So if you're getting paid to work, don't buy it. If you're buying it for pure recreational entertainment for yourself, for your band, for your rec room, for your garage, that sort of thing, absolutely go buy it because it does an awful lot of stuff for the money. That's okay though. That's okay. It's like buying a minivan instead of a truck. All right. What are we up to now, Dar? So we did so.
Gentleman,
Yeah.
bought some Alto.
He bought some Altos, and it has half the power.
When he runs it through his phone.
When he runs it through his phone. Okay.
Why?
Okay. So if you're running from your phone, there's two problems that can happen there, and there's nothing wrong with running it through your phone. Just have to make sure you use the cables. I'm going to grab the cable here just so this way you can see. All right, ta-da, I'm back. All right, so if you're running it through your phone, you do not want to run it with one cable. The first problem that I see happen a lot of times is people use a jack that's balanced for our headphone, so we can plug that into our phone. And then at the other end, they basically just put an adapter on it like this. Now, I don't know if this is what you're doing, so you tell me if you're using an adapter or not. This would be a bad way because we're going to take a stereo signal and for consumer product, headphone use, and we're going to turn it into a balance. Now, what that really means is that it's just going to screw up all the sound. I need to make a video that just explains that. What you want is a cable like this. This is going to give me my left and right off of my phone. This is going to give me an unbalanced signal to basically the left speaker and to the right speaker. Now my speaker is going to get both left and right from my phone, and it's going to sound awesome and as crazy loud as you want it to be. So that's what's going on there. So I hope that helps. This, by the way, is very popular. It's called basically a 3.5 to dual RCA TS cables. So it's basically a splitter, goes to 2 channels. So there we go. We're going to take on one more question because we're coming up to 2 o'clock, and I'll be honest, we're going to be wrapping it up. We're going to do this again. We're going to do this more often. I've got a little bit of extra time right now because the showroom's closed to the public, so we'll be able to do this. Dara, what do we got for a last question for today? First of all, I do want to say thank you to everybody as I'm answering this last question.
So
how do I know
the maximum limit of a powered speaker and not blow it up?
That controller, a mixer, a phone, anything like that. Start with the speaker down low. Find the highest levels through your gains. If you're using a mixer, through your levels, through your main outputs. If you're using a mixer, that's great because that means you can bring that up to unity. Then you bring the speaker up. Speaker can the reason why the speaker goes all the way from, let's say, 0 to 10 or 11 or whatever the number is because, well, that's where all the power is. I do want to use the speaker as much as possible. So I will dial that up once I find that top level up to as far as I want it volume-wise. How loud do I want to hear it? If I get to the point that that speaker starts to actually flicker, the limiter flicker, then that's going to be a problem. I do not want to have a flicker and then go back and turn up the mixers, highs, or mids too much after that, because that is going to be a problem because the power will go to the actual tweeter, no issues, and it won't trip the limiter on the system. So you do not want to necessarily be above unity on your highs. If you need to get more volume out of it, back up the bass a bit so you can bring up the volume a little bit more. So it's a lot of work to really feel comfortable, but unity is the most important thing when it comes to pumping in any type of thing. Unfortunately, if we plug a phone or a tablet directly into a speaker, we're not going to have those kind of options. If we plug a controller or a mixer into a powered speaker, we will. So that means as I get higher up in the volume, I do not want to get the limiter going and then push up the mids or highs above unity. I'll back up the mids and I'll back up the bass if I need to get more volume out of it. So there we go. So we're going to wrap that up. Remember, all the links are down below on these videos, of course, for Amazon. That's what we're doing is, you know, support the actual video, support the actual channel. And I want to say, by the way, thank you to everybody. We did reach 10,000 subscribers, and that's because of everybody who watches it. What's that there?
It's our first live.
And this is also, yes, Darlene's telling me, it's our first live video. So by all means, after this is all done, you certainly can add some comments to this and let us know how we did. So I want to say thank you again very much. I know there's always a lot more questions to go on. I do have to pack some boxes, though, and get some orders shipped out. We still are shipping here. So we'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching, and bye for now. Did we do it? Did you?